Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to do the window mechanism on a Citroen Xsara Picasso. Not a bad job, guys. The real difficult one about this one was the fact that the mechanism had broke up and the window was stuck up. So I had to physically break the mechanism to get the window out of the way to then remove the mechanism. So I'm going to show you how I did that, guys, and how I got it out. So let's have a look. Right then, guys, so first thing we're going to have to do is remove the door card. Now we're just going to remove this panel off the door handle, and then there's two T30 Torx that we're going to have to remove. So there's one just at the bottom and then another one at the top of the handle. Now this handle did come off the door card. I don't know if it's supposed to, whether it's broken, but I just basically took the screws out and just pulled the handle away from the panel to get it out the way and removed it. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to remove the speaker. The actual speaker screws themselves don't actually go into the door, but there's two screws behind it you have to remove. So I've removed the cover with a flathead screwdriver. I'm just going to remove the four mounting screws. It's a T20 or T25 Torx to remove the four screws that hold the speaker in. Once the speaker is out, then we'll just disconnect the electrical plug and then we can get to the screws behind. So there it comes. And off comes the speaker. So like I said, just behind this speaker there's two screws that go through the panel into the door, so obviously you have to get the speaker out first. So we remove, there's one just in the bottom which we'll remove first, and then there's one in the top. So you don't have to remove these screws all the way out, you can just screw them back so they're out the door and they'll just stay in the plastic, so just in case so you don't lose them or anything. Sometimes it's best, to take all these screws out and put them to a side so you know everything's there. Right, then the next thing we're going to do is pop the little panel off. I'm sorry the camera's a bit low, but basically it's a panel where the mirror is. There's a little panel covering the screws that hold the mirror on. So it's just a flathead screwdriver and pop that off. And then we can get our hands behind the door card, and it's on poppers, guys, so just give it a good pull. Now it hinges at the top because it clips on, and then lift it up. So it's that simple. Pop it out at the bottom and then lift it up at the top and it'll pop straight off. Now what we got to do is we got to take a scraper and we got to remove this white foam panel. Now I'll speed this up because it is a slow process. Now there's a seam of glue that goes all the way around, and basically what you need to do is get under that glue, keep the glue on the panel, because on the actual foam panel, because if you try to take the glue off it, the panel just rips. It's really soft. So what I always do is just go around it tight to the frame with a scraper and just basically scrape the glue. It's like a really sticky glue, and believe it or not, as long as you scrape it off tidy, you can just stick this panel straight back on after and it will stay on. So it's like you say, you don't need to rip a hole in the middle of it like a lot of people do. Oh, there's my cable broken, so that's a good sign. And then we just need to basically scrape it off. Now you can see I just lifted the cable up there. You can see the cable's obviously broken in my mechanism, so I just showed it there. Now I'll start talking about the mechanism a little bit while I'm just showing you this. So basically what's happened is my mechanism the cable is broken, and obviously the motor and all that is jammed, so it goes up and down about 1 inch right at the top. Now the problem is you need to get the window down to unclip the mechanism from the glass, because what you should do is take the window down, unclip the mechanism from the glass. You can then push the glass all the way up and then remove the mechanism. Now the glass, believe it or not, is nice and tight in the seal, so the glass will stay there. You don't need to like prop it up. You can stick a bit of cardboard between the seal and the window if you want to just jam it up, but I found you just push it up and it stays up. So my problem is, because I can't get the window down, I can't get to the clips that hold the glass to the mechanism. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to break the clips. So see, if you look, you got my new mechanism here, so obviously you can see where the motor is and everything. I'll just hold that in place for you guys to have a look at, so you can see where the motor is at the front of the door. And obviously it's two separate rails on this and they're not fixed together. Now you can see where my hand is, you can see the clip there. That's what we're going to have to break to get the window out. So what I'm going to do now is take all the 10mm nuts. Sorry I'm covering you guys, but it's over quite a bit. So these are the two 10mm nuts on the motor side of the mechanism. So we're going to remove the two 10mm nuts there first. Then there's two 10mm nuts at the bottom of the rail and two bolts at the top. Well, one, sorry, nut at the bottom of each rail, and then one bolt in the top of each rail. So I'm going to remove the two nuts first, because you can remove the nuts and it won't go anywhere. So I'm just going to take them off. Now the bolts on the top are on a slotted hole, so you can just back them off and then lift the rail out. But if you want my honest opinion, I think if you take the bolts completely out, then when you're removing the rail, it just won't catch it. It won't catch on anything. It makes everything a little bit easier, guys. That's all this is about, is making everything easier for yourself. So the last thing you want is to be struggling. And there it is. So now that we're ready to come out. Now, like I said, I can't drop the window now and obviously unclip the glass because my mechanism is stuck up. So what I'm doing now, which I know is hard to see, I'm actually just pushing the mechanism back a little bit away from the door to try and get to the electrical plug. Now, it was a bit awkward. I did try to get the camera in there, guys. So you can see I've got the one side off, which is the side without the motor. That's easy. So it's just loose in there now. Now, obviously there's the broken cable. So what I'm going to do is get this out the way a little bit, and then I'm going to go to the other side. Now I will show you where the electrical plug is. I did try to get the camera in there to show you guys, but it was really difficult and you couldn't really see it. So what I'll do is I'll push the mechanism back out the way, and then what I'll do is I'll show you where the plug is situated, so it makes life a bit easier. So as you can see now, I'm just trying to push the mechanism with the motor back away from the door. I'm just trying to get it off them studs and get it away. It is a bit awkward because it does catch on the glass a little bit. Even though the glass is all the way up, it does catch. Now you can see I've got a little flathead screwdriver and I'm pushing it towards where the plug is. And then what it is, it's got a little tab, and you just lift the tab with the screwdriver. And then what you can do is you can put your hand up through the speaker hole and just pull the wire down, and off comes the electrical plug. Now, as you can see, it just sits right by here. Dead simple, guys. That's where it sits. So you just stick your finger screw, push your tab and pull it. That easy. So now the next problem I've got now is obviously it's loose, but it's obviously jammed to the glass. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to obviously break it away from the glass. Now I've already done the one at the back. You can see I did that when I wiggled it earlier. I just wiggled it side to side until it popped off. So I'm just going to wiggle it, and you watch here now, you'll see it just wiggles and then it'll just pop off. Let me just come out of your way. Make sure the glass is all the way up. It makes things a lot easier. See, I'm wiggling him, and then all of a sudden just give it a good pull and it will go. Oh, there she goes. So that's just popped off the glass now, and there she is, look. So obviously you got to do that with both rails, but yeah, it's not the strongest clip, guys. It's really weak. They break really easy. So obviously they're only designed for up and down force. You put a bit of side to side on them and they don't take it. So there comes my big rail, and there comes my other. Now there is these little clips that hold the cables in place. Obviously you got to get them out, and obviously the one cable's broken, so just get that out of the way as well. So, and that's my mechanism out. Now I'll just show you. So this is obviously the clip that holds the glass. So it's just this white little tab here, and as you can see, I'll just bend it. You can't see it from an angle, but if I just turn it, you'll see how soft that is. So basically when we're wrenching the mechanism sideways, we're just popping that bit of plastic out of the glass, which is, it's a lot easier than you think. So there's my new mechanism, guys, all nice and shiny. Well, she's not new, she's secondhand, but still it works. So what I'm going to do now is just feed it into the hole. Obviously I've got the big mechanism with the motor first, and then what I'm going to do, I know this is a bit different to the way I took it out, but the way I took it out was it was all broken and in bits. So if I'm honest with you, I did try 3 or 4 different ways. It's the first time I've done this job. I tried it about 3 or 4 different ways before. I've obviously edited that bit out, and this was the easiest way I found to get it in. So once you've got the big rail in, you can just feed the little rail underneath it, and then once you've got them both in you, then you can just maneuver them into position. So obviously you want to lift the big rail with the motor up somewhere near, and then you can just take the little rail and you can just feed it up into position. I wouldn't put any bolts in. I'd get them both into position first, guys, just to make sure everything's nice and neat before you go and bolt it all in. So as you can see, I'm just jiggling it around to make sure everything's where it should be, and then and then obviously you can just hook everything on the studs and then stick all your nuts on, and away to go. It is a little bit fiddly. I'll tell you what to keep in mind when you're feeding this one with the motor up into place. Right up the top, if you slide your hand all the way up the top, you've got to be on the inside of the glass. Now I'm fiddling around here a little bit. That was because when I first put it up there, it went on the outside of the glass, which obviously it's got to be on the inside, so it wouldn't go up into position. So all you got to do is make sure that you hold it on the inside of the glass so that it just slots up inside the door and it'll fly into position. So there you go, guys. Dead simple. Anyone can do this, and then just a matter of boxing it back up. Thanks for watching.